Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. We are proud to offer this series with funding from the Area Agency on Aging and the United Way of Tarrant County. These programs are recorded and are made available for viewing through a YouTube channel for future use. I am Martha Brown, your host for today's activities. I am thrilled to present for the first time on this program, Blue Zones, and it is going to be given to us in manageable bites by Jekka Cisco.
Wait.
And Jekka likes interaction and questions. So Jekka, I'm going to turn it over to you until 10 after 11.
Can you hear me?
All right.
Yes,
Nancy, we can hear you.
Nancy, we hear you. We don't see you yet,
Nancy.
You don't see me?
No.
No, ma'am.
I don't know.
Can you see us?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Does anybody want to help her fix the camera part before Jekka gets going?
Yes, Nancy, down in the bottom left-hand corner, there should be a button that looks like a camera. And if you click on that, your video should come up.
Okay.
There you go.
There you are.
Good morning, Nancy. You got here at the perfect time. We just turned it over to our speaker for the day. Jekka, it's all yours again.
Okay, awesome. Good morning, everyone. Happy y'all are here. So my name is Jekka. I work with a project here in Fort Worth called Blue Zones Project, and it is a community-wide well-being improvement initiative. I've been with the project for almost 8 years now. I am a yoga instructor, meditation instructor, and also a nutritionist on staff. So I go out into the community and teach all sorts of things in the world of health and wellness. So who here has ever heard of a blue zone?
What?
Blue zone.
Blue zone.
No.
Blue zone. Anyone ever heard of it? Any familiarity?
No.
No.
Maybe.
Okay. Maybe, maybe not. All right. I've got one hand. That's Martha. So there are 5 original blue zones throughout the entire world. And these were found by a man named Dan Buettner, who traveled the world, and he was looking for places where people were living to be over 100, without chronic disease, without any health issues. They're really just thriving upwards and onwards, still working, still functioning like they were in their 30s and 40s. And so he took a blue Sharpie, circled them on the map, and said, these are the blue zones. And so these areas, these longevity hotspots, the reason they're called blue zones is all due to the marker he picked up. Nothing blue and health don't have any correlation. So if you could think, could you imagine, can anyone think about where a longevity hotspot might be?
I've read about some of them. It's just I didn't know the term blue zone. I think there's one in Russia. There's one in South America, I believe.
There is Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Thailand?
Not Thailand.
No.
Japan.
Say Japan.
Yes.
Yep, Japan. And we're just guessing. So, I mean, if we don't get them right, we don't. But there is.
So far, the right answers are Japan and what?
And
Russia?
Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Costa Rica.
I would have guessed Colorado because everybody there is really healthy, but that's just a shot in the dark.
Really?
Iceland.
You think everybody's healthy in
Um,
Colorado?
You hear that? Iceland, set hands.
Iceland?
Iceland is not one.
Okay.
So there's one in the US, and it's Loma Linda, California. And it's because in Loma Linda, they're actually Seventh-day Adventists. So they don't drink alcohol, they don't eat meat, they walk every day, they take a good day of rest, actually, as opposed to a lot of us who just, work 7 days a week. So you've got Loma Linda, California, the Nicoya Peninsula, Costa Rica, Okinawa, Japan, Sardinia, Italy, and then Ikaria, Greece. So those are the 5 longevity hotspots. Now, there are other pockets throughout the world where people are living to be longevity hotspots, as they call them. But that was the original research. And that was done by a man named Dan Buettner. He worked for National Geographic. And so if you ever turn on Dr. Oz, or even, it's been in Oprah magazine, Shape magazine, different health and wellness trends will reference blue zones. So that's what they're referencing, are those places. Now, why are these people living to be over 100? Can anybody imagine what's going to contribute to the longevity of the human body and brain?
They eat lots of fish.
They actually eat a ton of fruits and veggies and beans, and they look at meat and fish as a celebratory item. So as opposed to eating, meat at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it's, celebratory. So maybe 3 times, 4 times a month they have meat, which is a lot different than our, pace here when it looks at meat consumption in the US. And I think, Dusty, you said environment.
Yes.
So they actually, some was environment, but it was also prioritizing natural movement. So, I'll be honest, if I lived in Ikaria, Greece, I would be much more apt to get outside and get my movement. But they were definitely walking an average of 5 miles a day. So they weren't, it's not about being a marathoner and hitting the gym every day, but they were moving. Right. So just, constant movement throughout the body. We're really not meant to sit all day long. We're just not. Okay. So we've got our diet, which is predominantly plant-based. We're moving throughout the day. And so there's actually, we refer to it as the Power 9. So we've got 2. Can anyone imagine what would make someone live healthier? Besides diet and exercise, right? Those are the two that were like, yep, we got that.
Is movement exercise, or is it walking the exercise?
Both. So walking is your exercise or your type of movement. So if you wanted to dance, if you wanted to swim, bike, whatever, as long as you're getting that movement.
Could it have something to do with your DNA?
So actually, no.
No?
Sleep.
Social,
yes. Social connection is a big one. So one of the Power 9s is, we refer to it as right tribe. So what we see in these blue zone areas is everyone had more than 5 friends they could count on. And studies show here in Fort Worth and across the states, most people don't have more than 2 or 3 friends that they can call on. But in these blue zone areas, they had these social groups. So in Okinawa, Japan, they called them moais. And so they were just a group of people coming together for a common purpose. So we've got social connection, which we call right tribe, eating healthy, exercising. Also talking about eating, they weren't overeating, right? So they had a rule. And we look at it, we call it the 80% rule, to where you only eat until you're 80% full. How do we do that? Well, that's a tricky one, right? Because I'm sure we can all imagine what it feels like to overeat. Has anyone ever overate? Anybody?
But, sometimes I eat so fast that I don't think I'm full till I've overate.
Absolutely. And
Don, we could make a fortune if we created an overeat meter.
Overeat meter, you got it.
Just attach it to your body, and it says when you get 80%,
working on it today.
gives a little signal. Beep, 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 beep,
Yeah. So the thing is, the brain is it's gonna take 20 minutes to know that you're full. Okay. So if we sit down for a meal and we finished our breakfast or lunch or dinner under 20 minutes, the signals haven't been sent properly yet. So I always tell people, if you can, slow down. If you want to set a timer, 20 minutes, make your portion, sit down, and then wait. And then you'll be amazed after 20 minutes. It's like, well, I'm actually full. I don't need. And so in this lifestyle that we have here, where we're getting food on the go, we're eating in our car, we're having, lunch meetings. It's like, oh, let me just get my lunch in super quick. I'm still hungry. Or, with COVID and being at home, it was like 24/7 snacks. It's like, yeah, I'm always over 20% full. So it's about being mindful. And so we try to help people become more mindful around food. And so in Okinawa, Japan, they actually had a saying, right before they sat down, they said Harry Hachibu, which I am from Texas, and they sang it and it was way more pretty in their language. But what it means is I'm only going to eat until I'm 80% full. So just when you sit down to eat, if you give yourself that reminder, hey, today, right now, I'm only going to eat until I'm 80% full, telling yourself that will help you just become more mindful around food.
Yeah, that's a big problem for me. In fact, Myra just reminded me with a poke in the side. So, so yeah, that's good to know.
And then Jecka,
My grandfather, who lived to be 105, his rule was that he always wanted to leave the table a little bit hungry, but he never wanted to skip dessert. So he ate it first.
Yeah, he ate it first. Yeah.
I love that man.
I like it.
Yeah. Jecka, Myra mentioned sleep. Is sleep anywhere in the power of 9?
So it's actually not, but one something that could be translated or, in the same realm would be downshifting. So stressing less, finding ways to de-stress. And I think the thing is, when you're stressing less, your quality of sleep improves dramatically, right? Because, if you've ever been stressed or anxious, sleep is terrible, and you're waking up and you're trying to figure all life's problems out. And, you're first just trying to get to bed. So trying to find ways to manage stress. We're never going to get rid of stress. Unfortunately, it's not that we can sit down and it's gone. It's that we can see it and we can recognize it, become aware, and then manage it in the best way that we can. Managing it by, sitting down and just closing your eyes and taking a few deep breaths, or writing in a journal, going for a walk, calling a friend, doing things in a healthy way to manage stress rather than, numbing it away or creating more stress by adding, for example, when somebody's like, oh, well, I'll just drink it away. Well, then you're just adding more stress, because now you're hungover the next day and your anxiety's through the roof, and it doesn't fix it, right? We can never fix.
And calories with liquor.
Right. So, stressing less, which I think automatically is going to make you sleep better. So, I'm a big proponent of you need anywhere from 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. So sleep is not technically one of them, but I would say in the realm of downshifting and stressing less. Yeah. And then the next one we've got is family first. So in the blue zone areas, they all put their family first. They spent time in the home. They put, in today's world, no phones at the dinner table, and actually connected with one another, that family connection. So that was a big thing. So a lot of things that we do with the project is really helping families connect, and family friendly activities and things like that. And I always tell people, if unfortunately you don't get along with your family, find your friends and find that connection in some sort of loving way that you can really build that. And then the next one is purpose. So living your life on purpose rather than a paycheck. So waking up every day with a purpose and a reason for being here is going to help you overall, right? Like waking up for just a paycheck isn't going to be very fulfilling. They say the richest people in the world aren't very happy, but it's because they're just they say that. But I feel like if I was the richest person in the world, I might be pretty darn happy. But it's about finding your purpose. Why are we here? So with the project, we do purpose workshops where we help people write their personal mission statement. And in a sense, your purpose is utilizing your gifts and sharing that with others. Like, what are you good at? What fires you up?
I had a friend who was an electronics engineer, and it didn't give him purpose, so he became a farmer.
I
That
see
gave
that.
him purpose.
Yeah.
But the tension and everything else in the electronics industry was tearing him apart and his family apart.
Yeah.
He became a farmer, and that pulled it all back together.
Yeah.
And he got more fruits and veggies that way too.
Yeah.
The day I was retired from my work, the stress eventually went away. I still stress and kept bothering people at work, but eventually my boss called my wife and told her to make me stop. So, but after that, I paint and I do things. I give my copies of my paintings to my friends. And
Very good.
that's one of the things that helps me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Though occasionally I still, since I have my part of my dementia is dreams, I still have dreams about working. Okay. And they're not always good. Okay, let's put it that way. There. But yeah, I felt much more relaxed once I did retire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then as you guys know, I do all sorts of things,
Yep.
with my hands and stuff.
Yeah, and the difference is you're doing stuff you want to do, right? You're not being forced to go into work and do certain things,
Right.
but it's
Well,
so
even at the end, when I was my last year teaching, I probably was doing more things I wanted to do than I probably needed to do for the class.
Good.
Just things that were just for me, type of thing. And I didn't neglect my students, but it was, I was kind of getting into that mode for retirement.
awesome. Yeah. So living life on purpose, it does wonders for your longevity. And then the next one that we have is a social hour. So not only do we find our tribe, we find our people, but then connect with them and people in the blue zones were spending, 1 hour a day with their tribe and talking to others and, bouncing ideas off each other. It's like, have you ever had a terrible, stressful day, but then you go for a walk with a friend, you talk things out and you're like, man, really not that bad. I'm going to be okay. And so it's about carving out that time to have that social connection. In Sardinia, Italy, they had a glass of red wine every day, 1 4-ounce glass. But, they would have that one glass of wine, talk about their day, and it would just make things, again, I think in my experience, I think it comes back to that stressing, right? So it like alleviates some of that stress when you connect with others, especially your tribe. So they're stressing less, right tribe, family first, know your purpose, social connection, fruits and veggies, 80% rule, natural movement. What else did I miss? Did I miss anything?
Are pets in there anywhere, Jekka?
Pets. Okay. So pets are yes and no. So with pets, people who had pets get more natural movement automatically, but it's that, I said it's that connection, and pets just bring so much joy. And so so to say all that, Blue Zones Project is a product of this research. And so here in the city of Fort Worth, as a project, we go out and try to infiltrate these changes within different communities. So we work directly with schools, restaurants, grocery stores, work sites, and city policy. So different community events that we would do, we've actually partnered with animal shelters and helped people connect and find a pet to get more natural movement and connection. And I always love it because if you think about how we talk to pets and how we talk to humans, because to humans, like, hey, how are you? And you see your dog when you come home, you're like, oh my gosh, hi. And you just automatically like happier, right? Whether it's a dog, a cat, a bird, whatever. So with the project, what we've done in 2018, Fort Worth became a certified community. And then now we're looking at sustainability. So for instance, we have like 162 different work sites that are Blue Zone certified. And we go out and make sure that they have signage to take the stairs and that they have time to take a 10-minute walk every couple of hours and that they have healthy options in their cafeteria and really creating that work environment to be healthier. That's just an example. And then like with schools, we go in and we try to help. We do all sorts of different activities with the kiddos. Something that's been really cool to see is teaching kids how to meditate and regulate. Watching a 6-year-old regulate their anger through sitting down and breathing, I think is just amazing. And then as they grow up, they've got those tools already, as opposed to trying to figure them out, as an adult.
I saw somewhere that in a public place, the stairs were painted like piano keys so that people would want to take the stairs rather than the escalator. And it did pick up the foot traffic on the stairs because people wanted to step on the piano keys.
I love that.
Yeah.
They needed to put a little electronic sensor in each one, so each step is a different tone.
No, but then you have people going up and down at the same time.
I know.
They did. I saw a thing on that, and they actually made it where the keys played when you stepped on the going up the stairs.
Oh,
And then
cool, Dusty.
They took a survey, and at the first, there were 80% of people going up the escalator and 20% going up the stairs. And after they got the piano in there, it swapped to where there were 80% of the people going up the piano and 20 going up the stairs.
It sounds like Blue Zones was there, doesn't it, Jekka?
Absolutely. Yeah, and if you've certain parking lots, you'll see Blue Zones parking spots at the very back. Different grocery stores, we go out there and repaint them about once a year, and you know, that's about that natural movement. And it's little nudges. And so the whole goal here with Blue Zones project is that it's a holistic health approach to become healthier. You know, we see so many times these crazy diets and exercise and just these stressful regimens that are not going to pay off in the long run. It's not sustainable. So creating healthy habits throughout your day will create a healthier, sustainable life, as opposed to these crazy crash diets that I see, or, you know, people who just kill themselves at the gym for hours and hours a day. Well, that's not sustainable. And then you're not going to necessarily be the best version of yourself out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about taking care of yourself with these Power 9 principles.
Jekka, do you have anything like a magnet for a refrigerator that shows the power of 9 that you could send us a dozen to give to these folks that showed up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just love that round thing that shows the numbers, and she's making a note, folks. So we're going to send you something in the mail.
All right. All right.
Yes, they have a buses that come across town, and that it has the power of 9 painted on the back. At one point, I had a picture of it in my phone to try to remember what all the things were to be healthier.
I had to giggle when you were talking about those sustainable diets. Yesterday, breaking news on something on my phone came up. Oprah has a new diet, so you know it's going to take off. And you have to be very careful with it because you'll lose 60 pounds in 2 weeks.
Oh,
Yeah.
In 2 weeks.
It's like that. You
Crazy.
fall off a limb or
And
something.
it sounds like a, what do they call it? The snake oil.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm sure.
I'm sorry, but that's kind of, you know.
Well,
when
I
hear
know
those-
what, you know, people are gonna fall for it
Yeah.
and send her
Yeah.
$59.99 or whatever this
Yeah.
pill is.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier to do it healthily, like Jekka was talking about.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've cut down a lot of what I eat. My meal portion is, my wife is amazed because she'll put a portion on the plate and that's all I eat. I don't eat, don't for seconds. Well, normally I don't, depending on what it is. You know, there are a couple things I will go for a second because the first one isn't real big.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I don't,
go ahead, Steve.
I don't eat a lot, you know.
It hurts my heart that the older I get, the less I can hold.
It hurts me too.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and I'm fighting like 65 years of my parents tell me eat everything on your plate because there's children in Africa don't have that. So I just have a bad habit of just eating everything on my plate
Quickly,
yeah.
very quickly.
Yeah.
I think my mother was in the blue zone for many years because she always parked at the far end of the parking lot and walked. Of course, at the end of her life is because she was afraid to park within the cars because she was, you know, in her age, she was afraid to get in the cars, but she always parked at the very end and walked every place. You know,
Jekka, what have you not told us about Blue Zones that is important for us? I feel like there's more somehow.
Oh, well, of course. The last thing
Tell
I
us
did
more.
not, the thing that I didn't mention actually was people also had a place that they belonged. So when we look at connecting and right tribe, people found places that they belonged and attended regularly, whether that is a faith-based organization, a yoga class, an art class, a book club. It's about building community for like-minded individuals. So that's one thing in the Power 9 that we just didn't talk about, but finding places, you know, especially it can get tough to make friends. especially as adults, and then really after COVID, we're all inside, and then you may feel like, oh, that's dumb, I don't want to go. Nobody wants me there. But when you start making friends and going places that you're accepted and well liked, it just immediately boosts your joy. Has anyone ever walked into a room that you just felt unwanted?
Yeah.
Has that ever happened?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. And you walk in and you're like, is there something on my face? Like, I don't, but then you have your friends in other places and you walk into that room and you get a smile and maybe a hug and a ask, how's your family? How's your dog? And it's just that connection and that reciprocation of energy is so healthy for our overall well-being. So something that we also do, we work with a lot of faith-based organizations, and then just different clubs throughout Fort Worth. And so, like I said, I'm a yoga instructor at a yoga studio here in Fort Worth, Indigo Yoga, but that's where I belong. Those are my people. It's just a great community feel. So I always encourage people to get out there and find sense of community somewhere.
Like singing groups, right, folks?
Yeah, but America used to be such, I don't know the word for it, but you moved around a lot.
Right.
Especially in the 80s and the 90s, then you got promoted. You had to move from the East Coast to the West Coast, all of that. Mm-hmm. And you leave everybody behind. And the older you get, the more difficult it is to find friends, because your kids may no longer live at home and you have to get out among the other people. And a lot of them, well, there are still people that live the same place all their lives, and they already have all their friends, and they don't open up as easily as when you are.
Yeah, and that's definitely an issue, right? It gets harder and harder to open up the older that we get. And so I just always, I always say, find somewhere that is part of your passion and like-minded individuals. A good place is always anything creative, right? Anything that has to go in the world of art or, using your body, using your hands, and then of course, spirituality. That's a good common ground to start.
Well, most of those things are, I think, are covered by our Dementia Friendly Fort Worth group, because, we meet every day for at least 40 minutes or longer. And it may not be totally spiritual, but it's a place where we can tell stories or, ask questions.
That's our tribe, Don.
Our tribe. We're a tribe. That's right.
We are.
I think our architecture has badly influenced our community. It used to be where everybody had a porch on the front. We didn't have fences around the yard. Everybody got together in a community. They saw each other, they talked to each other. And now it's just everybody comes into their house. They come in their house, they stop. They shut the door. If I'm outside, I'm doing, maybe a neighbor will say hi, maybe not, type of thing. But they come in, they open the garage door, drive in the garage door, shut it, and that's it. You never see them.
So we have to be purposeful in reaching out.
Most of the homes in an HOA, you have to have a fence. They don't allow you to have a home without a fence. So you've got to have that fence. So it's everything separate. So you never really see your neighbors.
And we have to work harder to overcome that so that we can be healthier.
Yeah, when Myra and I were much younger, our neighborhood was much younger also. There's a lot more families with kids our age and their children's age, but we just open the garage door and sit out front in a folding chair and wave at people as they walk by and talk to people across the street and stuff like that. But
I remember as growing up, we had fences, but they're only 3 foot high. Now they're 7 foot high. So it is very different, because you can see your neighbor over there. You could stand at the fence and talk to your neighbor. And you could converse and you could talk to them and everything like that. But now you have to jump to see your neighbor.
And we used to go out and play until dark.
Oh yeah.
or
And then we'd play in the streets till we're dark.
Yeah, absolutely.
And had fun, and the neighbors didn't worry about if we were running in their yard or not. They encouraged it.
Yeah.
And so it was very different. It's very different today.
Jekka, if we're going to look at blue zones, how would one get a start? Like we've said here, this is our tribe, this is our social group. We're sort of like family. It's a purpose. We get a lot of it right here. How else can we easily start to incorporate this into our day and our livelihood, life?
So there are plenty of books out there. Dan Buettner wrote different books over blue zones in general. I always tell people to start with just educating, what is blue zones? What is this lifestyle? And then making intentional decisions and choices throughout your day to incorporate that. And pick one. If there was one Power 9 today that really stood out to you that you're like, I would like to do that. You know, if I would like to get more natural movement, I'm going to set a timer, or I'm going to set a reminder that I'm going to move my body for 10 minutes every morning, first thing in the morning. Or if, you know, stressing less sounds really good to me. Okay, I am going to intentionally find a way to incorporate some downshifting ideas and principles into my day, you know, and then once you pick one, and then you'll notice how it really does all connect to one another. Because when you're well rested and your stress is less, you're much more apt to make better, healthy food choices, right? Because when we're stressed and when we're moving 100 miles a minute and not making the best decisions, it's easy to go to fast food, or it's easy to go through a drive-through, but it could be fun to find a new Blue Zones recipe. And if you look at our website, or even if you just Googled Blue Zone recipe, you would see so many different plant-based recipes. And I know we're all meeting virtually here today, but do y'all meet in person ever?
Never.
This is all virtual.
Yes, this is our platform.
Not since the Zoom started. They used to meet before the Zoom started a couple times, at least not this group, but I was with the group. The same organization met like once a month or twice a month type of thing. COVID really kind of blew things out. Okay. Yeah. Because I'm part of several, one of the groups I'm in, we do meet once a week. Okay.
Not this organization.
Not this organization.
Right.
And in another one we did, but we don't because of COVID. You know, it just kind of.
If you were thinking about cooking, Jekka, our executive director loves to bake. And every so often she will do a cookie conversation with us. And she'll set up cameras in her kitchen and she will bake, and we'll watch her bake. And then she'll send us a box of cookies.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we do get a little bit, and Gail comes and visits people once or twice a year if she can. And we have prizes for bingo, and she delivers prizes sometimes. So she gets to see most everybody. And awesome. Then we have that connection with the cookie conversation.
Yeah. And you know, another thing I was just thinking is if everyone decided after this meeting today, if you picked one Power 9 and then let everyone know what you've chosen, and then the next time you meet, talk about what you did, and did it work for you, and did you notice a difference? You know, and social connection and getting to know your neighbors. Maybe get outside and go for a walk and see if that changed anything. I mean, I walk every day in my neighborhood, and I know a few of my neighbors, but I wish I knew more. And you're right, there are some people that, you know, I'm like, hey, and they're like, oh, there she is, you know, and some are very friendly. They stop and talk.
Oh, that's
interesting. Yeah. Oh, there she is. There's a smiley one with her dog. Cool.
Well, one of the things we struggle with as we get older is the ability to do movements, or bad knees, bad hips, other problems that basically take a 5-mile walk off the table. I mean, basically it's not going to be a 5-mile walk.
And then you go to
that's my question, is it how much of this Blue Zone activities is going to be how is it going to help us at this stage in our lives? So that's why I always encourage people to pick one. So these were the, like, you know, if you could do all 9, you're a rock star, right? Woo-hoo. They were doing all 9. But if you picked, and I always tell people, pick one, build up from there. And if you can master about 5 out of the 9, you're doing pretty good. And it's talking about, you know, you don't have to walk 5 miles, but move your body that allows
like, what can you do? If you can walk for 10 minutes, walk for 10 minutes or longer, right? It's not about, if you look at this lifestyle and you're like, oh my gosh, well, I got to find a church. I got to start walking. I got to change my diet. I've got to become mindful. I've got to set a timer for 20 minutes when I sit down. I've got to join an art class. Like, that's overwhelming. That's too much.
I'm really stressed about the timer business. 'cause
Exactly. Like, now that's
I got to wait 20 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, 21 minutes. I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
So it's just letting each one build off each other.
We also do chair yoga here, Jekka.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, the lady that does it is a yoga instructor for Urban.
Awesome.
And I've heard of Indigo, but I've never been there. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, we've actually had exercise the whole way through. It's different, but we've had different exercise programs all the way through in this setting, in this community. And every place, like the group I meet in person, we do exercise. Usually it's chair yoga or chair exercise. One time we had chair ballet, and that was really fun.
Chair ballet.
Ballet instructor teaching us how to do these movements.
Yeah.
You know, as we're teaching, the different things, the hand movements, feet movements, and that was a lot of exercise.
Yeah.
You don't realize how much exercise is in dance movement.
Oh, absolutely.
Particularly ballet, it was fun.
Nancy, if you were going to pick one of the Power 9, what would you think of to incorporate into your day that would be different?
I'd probably start with the diet.
Do you have something in mind?
I think it would make a change. And then follow up with exercise.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You share meals with your daughter and son-in-law sometimes, don't you? You have meals with your daughter down the street?
Not very much.
Oh, okay.
Maybe once every other week.
Okay.
I'll be darned. Well, that's a surprise to me. I would have thought that since you live 3 houses apart, that would just be a natural to visit more often. You just taught me something. So Nancy's got her independence now. Hush. So Nancy,
You're on mute, Paulette. Paulette, you're on mute. We cannot hear you.
You're on mute.
Phil, you're on mute.
Thank you, Yetta.
Okay, I think he's gonna change it.
Yeah.
We can hear you now, Paulette. Thank you,
We can
Yetta.
hear you now. Oh,
Yes.
yay.
What were you saying, Paulette?
I don't know. What was I saying?
He was complaining about the bird making too much noise.
Yes. Yes, I think so too. And I'm closer than you are.
I have to leave, so I'm saying goodbye and thank you.
All right.
It was very interesting.
Yetta.
to hear.
Bye, Yetta.
Goodbye,
Bye,
Thank you for being
See
here.
you tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Okay, so long.
Tell us how to spell Butner. Butner.
Butner.
Butner. Oh, boy, I would have made it. Okay.
Sure.
I think I've read one of his articles, and it wasn't China or wasn't Japan or Costa Rica, but it was actually a European country, or like one of the it wasn't Greece, but it was one of the Baltic states.
Was it Italy by chance? Or
No, it wasn't Italy. There was a Baltic state that had a group of people. So almost like, I think it was Ukraine. There was a section in Ukraine. It wasn't a huge community, but it was a community that had a group of people that were living for over 100 type of thing.
This will help us to be more aware of what's going on in the world, won't it?
I think there's more in the world than we think of those people, because our society has gotten to a point where we are very, and I'm glad you're doing this, okay? Because I think our society has gotten to a point where we are restricting our age because of the activities we do.
And that is why Jekka is here, Steve.
Yeah, and that's why I said, thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And Jekka, you're not done yet, but I want you to know that we want you back. And
Yeah,
if you can
sometime.
come back more than once in your life, I know you're a busy lady and you're spread pretty thin. I don't want to increase your stress. But obviously, hey, we're learning about this and I would love to have you back. So this is your invitation.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I would love to come back. Yeah, we'll just figure out a time and date and go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do y'all have any questions you haven't asked yet? Don,
Nope.
you started to say something.
Oh, no.
No?
I was just making a noise. Never mind.
We'll always say something, you know.
Dusty, what
Yo.
new info are you getting out of this?
Well, that I'm pretty lazy.
I'm pretty lazy.
I need to do most all of them. And we're trying to get a group of people here together to kind of form a tribe.
You mean on Zoom or at your facility?
In our building here.
Great. Did they
Yeah.
ever fix your pool room?
Finally, about a week ago, they opened up.
That's
Good.
wonderful. Jekka, when the storm came 14 months ago, there were rooms damaged in his building and they're just now fixing them.
Goodness.
Well, I'm going to commit right now that I'm going to walk 10 minutes a day. And for me, that's a lot because right here is where you see me. And that's where I spend most of my day is right here. 10 minutes for me is going to be a big deal. And I want somebody to ask me about it next week.
Okay.
Jekka, you need to add on to your Power 9 humor. You notice we have a fun time here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that can be how you de-stress. Laugh.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Laugh.
Yeah.
You
We
know?
do laughter yoga, Jekka.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I went through a session of actually a lady teaching us, a lady or a guy, I can't remember, laugh therapy.
Laugh therapy.
Laugh therapy, yeah.
If you can remember who
Straight
that was, we'll get him to come on our
I
our
don't
program.
remember, what it was,
Okay. Jekka, we thank you so much. And
You're
I'm
so
sorry
welcome.
my bird is screaming at you now. I don't know
Yeah.
what the problem is. We do want you to come back.
yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Any
You're
last
welcome.
questions
Thank you very
before
much.
we let Jekka go?
Mhm.
Okay, well, let's take a look at what's coming up. Jekka, you're welcome to be a fly on the wall right now. We're just
I
gonna-
actually do need to pop off to get ready for the next
Okay.
well,
meeting that I have today, but thank you all so
Okay.
much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Take
Jekka.
care
Thank
of
you for being
yourself.
with
We
us.
appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Jekka.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, well, there we were with Blue Zones and Jekka. And at 11:30 today, we have Tony Palos piano. It's different from what you got in your email. We thought it was going to be Kent Ellingson, but he couldn't be at 11:30, so they subbed Tony. And at 1:30, it will be Sentimental Journey with Kent Ellingson. Tomorrow at our regular time, Peggy Spear will be with us with Green. Artful
Wow.
Moments with Green.
Hey,
So we can have that to look forward to. And if you just have nothing else to do tomorrow, I'm doing Jeopardy twice.
Okay.
11:30 and 1:30, and I will do different programs for those who want to come twice.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anybody have anything they want to share before we go?
Yes, pertaining to tomorrow, I've always heard that it's hard to be green. Kermit the Frog taught me that. So
It ain't easy being green. You're absolutely right.
well, actually, it wasn't. What's the date?
Today's the 15th.
Well, I
It's the
see
16th.
the green. I know why she's doing green.
Oh, tomorrow. Oh,
St. Patrick's
St.
Day.
Tomorrow,
Patrick's Day.
because Thursday is St. Patrick's Day.
that's right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nathan Begora.
My sister-in-law's birthday, St. Patrick's Day.
Oh
That's
my
my,
goodness.
that was my mother-in-law's birthday also.
And my father-in-law's birthday was tax day,
Oh, wow.
April
Steve.
Happy
15th.
birthday. Give me money.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve, you need to tell everybody about Mark and preschool and the carrots
Oh,
quickly
he
before
is
we go.
so. It's hard to believe, he's probably about 7 months now. And the doctor was amazed because at his age, at 6 months, usually there's just kind of moving hands with hands. He has rings. He takes them apart, puts them together. He is scooting all the way across the room, backwards, but he's also started to do some forward movement,
Wow.
like
that's
crawling.
She said, tell them about the carrots.
Oh yeah. Day before yesterday, I think he went to preschool or daycare going to, and he's been starting to eat solids. So he had some oatmeal, some apples, and carrots. And he came home with some carrots in his nose.
Well, unless they really liked him then.
Just like a little snack, for
Yeah, right there. I'll get that later. I'll get that later. Yeah.
But I've watched him eat carrots with his mom, and there's carrots all over the place, including his mom,
Yeah, exactly.
So what
Thank you, Steve.
Steve,
Was that
what is his name?
Mark?
Mark.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, there went Nancy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we ought to go if Nancy's left us.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Thanks a
Well,
lot, guys.
We'll see
okay,
you for art.
everybody.
Have a
Bye-bye.
great day, everybody.
Time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.